Siren Queen by Nghi Vo is one of those books that made a great first impression on me by just the cover. Look at it, it's gorgeous. And after I read the description, I knew I just had to read it.
Full disclosure, I did receive an ARC of this book through NetGalley.
Siren Queen is a historical fantasy novel set in 1930s Hollywood. It's a lot more than that, but we have to start somewhere. This is a story about monsters and magic and the power that some people have and some people don't. It's about a young woman from a Chinese-American family who is pursuing her dream to be in film. And she's pursuing that dream in a world that doesn't respect her as a person. And at its core, this is a story about what someone's willing to give up in order to get what they want, and how that price is always much higher than it should be. Lily Wei is a girl who works at her family's laundry business in Hungarian Hills, which is a neighborhood in Los Angeles. She gets really lucky one day and starts getting bit parts in films. But as she starts approaching her 18th birthday, she realizes that the person who's been helping her get her foot in the door doesn't exactly have her best interests at heart. She goes to bargain with a veteran of the Hollywood scene, and she ends up giving away 20 years at the end of her life in order to get what she wants, which is to get her foot in the door and to finally be a star. Lily Wei starts her career by stipulating that she's not going to play a maid, do any funny voices, or be a feigning flower. This severely limits the kinds of roles that she's allowed to take, because most people want to cast pretty white girls as their leads. But she finds herself playing a monster in a very successful series of films called the Siren Queen. And she also discovers that dealing with the real monsters, which are the people who run the studios, is a lot more than she bargained for. This is a book that readers are either going to love or they're going to hate, because this is a book that knows what it is and does that perfectly and basically does it to the detriment of everything else. But hey, it's really important to go into books like this with the right expectations, so that way you know if you're going to like it or not and have the best experience possible. Siren Queen is more of a love letter to the thematic elements and the atmosphere than it is a plot-driven work, even though there is a plot. The beginning of the story is much more methodical. Lily Wei falls in love with acting, makes deals with people in order to get where she wants to be, and then starts her journey to become a star. But when she steps onto the lot, this story becomes more about her and the reader reacting to all the challenges that she has in front of her as she tries to become a star. At the same time, we get to experience a world that is wild, has a lot of fae deal-making vibes going on, and has this strong undercurrent of magic that both nurtures and destroys everything on set. The predatory studio heads are literal monsters. The flames that everybody gathers around on Friday nights are both literal campfires and forges for relationships to be made and careers to be made in order to survive. It's like LinkedIn, but more glamorous and more dangerous. The magic in this story is more about bringing the metaphors to life instead of being a tool for the hero to wield. It's the kind of thing that makes people fall in love with the book and makes other people want to DNF it 40 pages in. But for the people who like this kind of story, this book completely nails it, and it's a lot of fun to read. Without going into spoilers, this book does a lot to look at the word monster and how we sort of use it as a way to separate people out who are different than us and put them down. Lily Wei is Chinese American, she's not straight, and she has the audacity to refuse disrespectful roles, even though a lot of other actors and actresses of color are able to make their fortunes off of it. And because of this, she's seen as arrogant and demanding by some of the people that she works with, instead of, a person who has healthy boundaries. The only roles left for her are monsters and villains. They'll never let her play the lead, but they'll let her play the adversary. And at the same time, the studio heads are taking advantage of some actresses, and they're also sacrificing others in order to feed the magic that keeps the studio going. Luli is able to take the mantle of monster and build a successful career out of it. But her using the power that fame gives her makes the studio heads uncomfortable, and they lash out at her. Sometimes she comes out ahead, and sometimes she doesn't. And in either situation, standing up to the establishment comes at great cost. This is a story that feels kind of convoluted and non-linear at times, but that's also what makes the story so powerful. Much like the reader at times, Luli is trying to figure things out as she goes along. There might have been a magic cheat code getting into the studio, but building her career and playing characters that she can be proud of is a much more challenging endeavor. This is a book where I came for the premise and the cover, and I stayed for the beautiful writing, and now I just can't get this book out of my head. I feel like this book made me think, but I also feel like I have a lot more that I could learn from this book. This is a book that has a big flair for the thematic, and people who love their metaphors and their magic intertwined are going to be absolutely broken by this book. I can't recommend it enough. It's just such a beautiful novel, and I rarely reread books, but I can definitely see myself rereading this one. If you like what I do, please hit the subscribe button and join the Caffeination. We'd love to have you. I post bookish videos whenever I can get around to them because I am a busy adult with many important things to do. Like, share, subscribe on all your social media, and if you think I suck at this, leave me a comment down below and I'll try to suck better next time. Bye!